Hey guys, um, I was looking at this document. It's not a document, it's a blog, but it says the U.S. government, now this came out in September 23rd, is in possession of exotic material from UFOs, ex-Pentagon officer claims. This one came out in May of 2021. U.S. government, okay, you know I'm going to analyze this, has exotic material from UFOs, former Pentagon officer claims. He headed up the Pentagon's UFO program before it was halted. Let's see. The former head of the Pentagon's infamous UFO program, I wonder if I click this, I'll get there, has claimed that the U.S. government is in possession of exotic material from mysterious vehicles. Okay, we're called vessels, we're called cars, we're called planes. I don't think this is what you think it is. And so he said he ran the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program with its sole purpose of studying unidentified objects in our skies. He has since played a key role in the leaks. Go down here. Tucker Carlson asked him, do you have any debris from the materials from any of these vehicles? And he said the United States government is in possession of exotic material. And I'll leave it at that. So why are there certain DNA lines, certain blood types, certain DNA things existing on the earth that they're claiming it doesn't come from the earth? It's claiming that there was two different branches of humanity. One went this way, one went this way, but they're not related somehow, right? So I really want to find, they showed this, but I don't think this is what it is. I mean, this was filmed in 2004, but I really want to see some FOIA documents on this program. So I'm going to look for it and come back to you on it when I find something. Okay, this is the first thing that I came up with, but, I'm going to have to look at a lot of these things and see what it means. Various forms of sensors that register UAP generally operate correctly and capture enough real data to allow initial assessments. UAP clearly pose a safety of flight issue and may pose a challenge to U.S. national security. I think these are people, that their DNA is different. That's what I think. And I don't think there's foreign adversary systems, maybe technologies deployed by Russia, maybe leaves them loophole to not really be lying. UAP threaten flight safety and possibly national security. UAP pose a hazard to safety of flight and could pose a broader danger if some instances represent sophisticated collection against U.S. military activities by a foreign government. So, first, I don't know if they're claiming that this is a UFO, but it does go through the Navy, which is Gitmo. So I'm not sure what this is. They're saying they're in possession of exotic materials. What does that mean? What does exotic materials mean? – because some of these blood types, they don't get sick. They have something in the blood that it can't get HIV. It's like a different kind of blood. But if this is exotic, an exotic plant or animal, so they're saying materials originating in or characteristic of a distant foreign country, exotic birds, foreign, tropical, alien, imported. What does exotic mean? Someone or something that is foreign or unusual in an interesting way. Okay, so why are they, I'm not saying this is, the same thing, but why are they torturing these persons? U.S. Navy aviators define a range fouler as an activity or object that interrupts pre-planned training or other military activity in a military operating area, restricted airspace. Human intelligence right here. A detailed analysis of unidentified phenomena, data collected by geospatial intelligence, signal intelligence, human intelligence, and measurements and signature intelligence. I didn't learn a lot from reading this little report. I like to read those ones on the, I think it's called the Black Vault, where it just shows you the, maybe WikiLeaks has something on it, where it shows you, the real CIA documents that talk about how they're torturing people. I like to see the documents itself. Let me see. Amazon Atlas. I wonder if there's UFO. Grenadian UFO resolution. Let's see if that says. Confidential. Grenada technology. Grenadian PM Sir Eric Gary addressed the Special Political Committee on Agenda Item 126 and introduced a resolution which would establish an expert group to set guidelines for a UN study of UFOs. All right. The subject of UFOs was one of worldwide importance and significance, and indeed one which warranted very serious consideration by the United Nations. Now, remember, I found a bunch of documents that went through the United Nations. This person that worked for the United Nations had all of these very strange documents about how they were trying to use a person in study for the rest of their lives without them knowing it, and harass the person with, photos of a graphic nature involving a male body part. So, introduce the subject and thus trod where muddier nations feared to tread, like into the human body, is what I believe this is. Phenomenon of UFOs simply as any aerial or surface sighting or instrumental recording, radar, photography, which remains unexplained by conventional methods even after competent examination. Remains unexplained. A cardinal mistake and source of great confusion had been the almost universal substitution of an interpretation of the UFO phenomenon for the phenomenon itself. So they've shown us many things in NASA, showing, rockets, and, some people believe that we didn't even go to, where. And these things that they've shown us are just to alarm us, but they're also to distract us from what they're really doing in these programs. NASA, there's a lot of documents on the NASA website that show they're doing human exploration, like exploration into human bodies, NASA. So if they show space and you don't realize space is also a human body, it's just odd. His conclusion that phenomena had three aspects: physical manifestation that could and should be investigated through available scientific equipment, a psychophysiological aspect. Witnesses at the scene exhibited disorientation symptoms, loss of the sense of time, partial paralysis. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into this and find something where I have something I can show you. But everything I've read about the UFOs, unidentified, means they've stripped you of your name. Unidentified flying objects, defined military nomenclature. Is any perceived aerial phenomenon that cannot immediately be identified or explained. Okay, well, I don't know. Project Blue Book is also really weird. I'll show you this. The United States Air Force has a responsibility under DoD for the investigation of unidentified flying objects. The name of this program, which has been in operation, is Project Blue Book. Identified in the past as Project Sign. They're trying to give you signs, messages, as this person from the DOJ kept saying, I'm just the messenger. Well, they're giving messages to torture people. And Project Grudge. Project Grudge is part of the Project Blue Book. Revenge killings, things like that. I mean, it's just not what I would determine a UFO to be. Interest in unidentified, meaning stripped of their names, is related directly to Air Force responsibility for the air defense. Procedures for conducting this program are established by Air Force Regulation 200-2 to determine whether UFOs pose a threat to the security of the United States. And second, to determine whether UFOs exhibit any unique scientific information. All right. Or advanced technology which contribute to scientific or technical research. Okay, bloodlines are going to, come on. If a blood doesn't carry the same attributes of human blood and has a different genetic code or something different on the blood, an extra gene, something, they can use that for scientific study. It's conducted in 3 phases: UFO reports and initial investigation of the reports. Air Force nearest the location of a reported sighting. I mean, if it does not reveal a positive identification or explanation, a second phase of more intensive analysis is conducted. Each case is objectively and scientifically analyzed, and if necessary, all the scientific facilities available to the Air Force can be used to assist in arriving at an identification or explanation. That's why in all of the documents I found, it said DNA studies, DNA collection, at the regional, I think it's called the Northern Regional Center, where they had a confidential file in each of these things. So how many people are in this program, I have no idea, but I do think, a bird, it can be a woman, a kite, searchlight, aircraft, anti-collision beat, blah, blah, blah. They're mistakenly reported as